Begin with some disappointing news tonight. On the eve of what could have been the first inter-Korean talks in years, the two Koreas called off their plans at the last minute.
For more on the reasons behind the cancellation, we now connect live to our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at the Arirang News Center. Ms. Sung-hee, walk us through what happened.
Guys, what a disappointing news. Seoul's Unification Ministry said just a few hours ago that the North called off Wednesday's inter-Korean talks at around 7 p.m., saying that it will not be sending its delegation to Seoul. Let's first take a listen to Ministry spokesperson Kim Hyung-suk.
North Korea sent a unilateral notification saying that it will postpone its plan to send a North Korean delegation due to the level of our top negotiator. We formed a 5-member delegation led by Vice Unification Minister Kim Hyung-suk, and the North said its 5-member delegation will be led by Kang Ji-young, director at the Peaceful Reunification of Korea, claiming he is a high-level official.
The two Koreas exchanged lists of their 5-member delegations at around 1 p.m. this afternoon, and since then they have been wrangling over the issue. According to the Unification Ministry, North Korea demanded that South Korean Unification Minister Ryoo Kihl-jae come to the negotiating table as initially proposed. And when the South did not agree, the North called off the meeting at the last minute, saying that South Korea's decision to change its top negotiator to a vice ministerial level position is a serious provocation and that it is holding Seoul responsible for the cancellation. In response, the Unification Ministry said North Korea's rejection of the talks is extremely regrettable, but that the door to dialogue still remains open.
So, Sung-hee, we're basically seeing that a disagreement over the level of the top negotiators was the cause of North Korea's sudden change of heart?
That's right, Sean. Initially, like I said, Seoul had proposed holding talks at the ministerial level. It planned to have Unification Minister Ryoo Kihl-jae lead the South Korean delegation and had asked the North to send Kim Hyung-suk, director of the North's United Front Department. South Korea's reasoning was that the two high-level officials were a suitable match because they held certain rights and responsibilities over inter-Korean policies in their respective countries. Now, why the North insisted on having Minister Ryoo come to the negotiating table when they were sending a much lower-level official remains a mystery. However, the conflict was foreshadowed when the two countries held a 17-hour marathon round working-level talks on Sunday to prepare for Wednesday's meeting. Now, the issue of who will represent the delegations was a sticking point at that time as well.
Ms. Sung-hee, so does this mean an end to the inter-Korean talks for now?
Well, Ji-hae, the inter-Korean hotline at Panmunjom has been closed for the day, so there will be no more talks, at least for today. So it is certain that the two Koreas will not be meeting on Wednesday. But the two sides have not completely called off the prospect of future dialogue. The North says it's postponing the meeting, and the South is emphasizing that it will keep the door to dialogue open. However, we can expect to see relations between the two Koreas return to their usual frosty states, as the two sides are almost sure to blame each other for the sudden cancellation. And some are now questioning North Korea's sincerity in the first place, as the Unification Ministry said that today's exchange of lists at 1 p.m. was the first contact the North had made since their working-level talks on June 9.
And Sung-hee, what have been some of the reactions to the last-minute cancellation of the talks?
The presidential office of Cheongwade said the North had no respect for its South Korean counterparts because it was trying to enforce its own conditions without respect to the South, and added the move was not desirable for improving relations between the two Koreas. Meanwhile, the South Korean owners of businesses at the inter-Korean Kaesong Industrial Complex are reportedly in a state of shock upon hearing the cancellations of the inter-Korean talks. The owners had previously expressed the hope that the operations at the complex would resume with the talks, as it was one of the topics on the agenda for Wednesday's meeting. The owners now say they want talks to resume soon and said they will meet in Seoul on Wednesday to discuss possible solutions and the next steps forward. Guys?
All right, Sung-hee, thank you for the update. That was our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee reporting on the botched inter-Korean talks.